Hi, my name is Priyanka Neupane. I'm originally from Overland Park, Kansas. I am currently a management student here at Drucker, and I'm currently a licensing coordinator at Warner Music Group. I'm currently a licensing coordinator at Warner Music Group, specifically for sync licensing. Sync licensing is licensing music for film, TV, or any other type of visual content. It can also be for video podcasts or even for live stage performances. So I'm working on the clearance portion of that. So I get to represent a multitude of Warner Music Group catalogs. But what I am most excited about with this new role is that I have been working really hard to get to where I am, I think. It's my first full-time position, and on top of that, it took a lot of time to get to where I am, and so it feels like a lot of the stuff that I've been wishing for and hoping for is finally coming into fruition. Especially knowing the time it took, it just feels exciting that I finally get to partake in doing what I love. Drucker student really helped me because, one, Drucker has a multitude of resources that can automatically just help you in finding your career, but regardless, as being a student in itself, all of my classes, there's always been a collaborative aspect to it, and it's helped me know how to work with people or talk to people, and even if there wasn't per se any specific collaboration, a lot of my classes, we did do a lot of individual projects where we got to get feedback from the rest of our classmates, and I think that itself has helped me be able to not be afraid to ask any questions and not be afraid of getting critique back on my own work. So coming into a new job, I've had to ask a lot of questions. I've had to learn so many new things, and I think the collaborative nature of Drucker classes has been very helpful for that. My key resources here at Drucker itself was the Career and Professional Development Office. I was constantly going into the career office and asking for help on building my resume, formatting my resume, looking over my cover letters, because I personally struggle with writing cover letters, and also interview prep. I remember when I was preparing for my interview on this current role, I was really nervous because I had interned previously at this role, and so everyone that was interviewing me already knew me, so I was going in a lot and asking them, how am I going to approach this interview with someone who already knows me? So things like that, the career office really helped me out. On top of that, I originally went to a music school and everyone was into music, and it was really fun knowing that everyone was into music. But coming here, I really learned a lot more from my peers and how they took their professional endeavors, because everyone is in a different industry and everyone is here to learn something new, but we're all learning the same exact thing and applying it to our different industries. So I think also connecting with my peers and getting to know them has been very helpful. And then in general, getting this current role, networking has always been the biggest thing that I used to struggle with, and now I'm getting a lot better at it. But it was really helpful just going out there and kind of just doing even a cold message to someone on LinkedIn, like, hey, can you help me out? And you get a lot of rejections along the way, but I think it does build you up when you're also on the career search journey. I think the most valuable lesson I learned was collaboration. Like I mentioned before, as a student, collaboration was a really big help at coming into my new and current role. But it is also something that I take away from being as a student here. Everyone is always kind and everyone is always helpful. And when I came into my new role, something that they always reminded me was you always have to approach our work with kindness. Even if someone is not really giving you the best attitude, you have to always give a more humanistic approach, which is also one of Drucker's main philosophies, is giving that humanistic approach. So as someone who is making consistent clearance deals and negotiating, I always have to face people with as much kindness as possible. Even if they're not happy with my answers, I have to always exude kindness, which all the professors here are like that. All the students here are like that. So it's something that I will always hold on to. My biggest inspiration, I think, has been my family overall. It might be a little bit cheesy to say, but also it is very much true. Admittedly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do my master's before I came to Drucker, but I think it was their encouragement that really led me here. I wasn't sure if I was ready to go back to school. I wasn't sure if I could even do school again, but they always believed in me and believed in my efforts, and so it helped me believe in myself again. And so I would say they are definitely my biggest inspirations and motivations. Even going into music school, it was my dad who told me to apply for the school I did and audition, and I got in, and it probably is like the best journey that I've been able to take. That is a very tough question to ask. I think I hope to be remembered for being able to work with others. I think having your own work and being able to do work on your own is always important. It's a big skill to have, but being able to work with others can always increase the results that you're trying to get. It can always just enhance everything that you're trying to do. When we're working together, everyone has a different set of skills, everyone has a different set of knowledge, but when we bring that together, it's always going to give you a better result on whatever project you're trying to do. Even if you're working on something that's for yourself, getting information from someone else, getting someone else's thoughts and opinions, receiving criticism for your work, that's always going to be so impactful. So I think working with others is what I hope to be remembered for. I think the best advice I can give is, number one, always utilize your career offices if you have a career office that you can go to. I know if you're a student here, you definitely do, and I recommend to go to anyone there in the career office. Everyone in the career office is kind, they're welcoming, and they're always going to help you wherever you want to go. The other advice I'd give is more on kind of your own mental well-being side. As someone who it did take me a while to get to my first full-time career, but it takes a lot of rejection to get there, but it is always best to understand that whatever happens, happens, and if you didn't get that role, it just wasn't meant to be. And whatever role you get, that's where you're supposed to be. But rejection is gonna be something that builds you up, and sometimes you just have to take it. But remember that it doesn't mean anything worse of you. It means that it just wasn't meant to be. And you might find things you need to work on. Maybe you need to work on your interview skills better. Maybe you just don't have something that they're looking for. I remember one interview I did, and I did respond back to the interview. I said, hey, can you give me an understanding of why I didn't get this role? And they told me, honestly, you just don't have clearance experience. And I remember getting that, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do one more internship before I try and find another full-time job. And that internship happened to be where I currently work. I got the clearance experience, and now I have a job in clearance. So I think understanding where you're lacking, where you're excelling is always great, and also being very confident in yourself. When I did my last internship, I realized I'm done with internships because I knew my worth and I knew where I needed to head. And so the best thing you can do is always understand who you are, take rejection with grace, and always be confident with your skills and your ability, and also where you're lacking.